If students feel that they can see themselves in the walls around them, if they can see various cultures represented in the room around them, they have that sense of a broader world and a broader community, and I think it's really important.
Every student deserves to be valued, deserves to be seen.
Inclusion is love, and for those folks that struggle with that, I try to remind everyone that everyone on this earth is a precious human being and is the center of the universe for somebody else.
Even if you're in elementary school or you're in high school, inclusion, it's not something that you can negotiate.
By living those values within your room, the students are seeing that. You're modeling those values. The other students in the room are also modeling them. And then they go out into their other classes and out into the world, and they spread that loving kindness, hopefully, everywhere that they go.
If you are the principal in the school, you set the tone to make sure that the teachers, the students, the community, they understand clearly that that's a value that you cherish very much. Just look at the walls. You can see who is included, who's not included. For example, the entrance of this school, École Secondaire Catholique et Lajeunesse, that sets the tone very clearly who is included, who we value, why it's very important for us to recognize these people or these communities. And I think you can set up the tone very clearly by being the teacher or being the principal to make sure that every student is welcome and every student is valued in your classroom by doing that.
Teaching instrumental music, you have every student with a specific part on a specific instrument. And so musically speaking, all of that coming together is paramount, and everyone having a voice and everyone being respected and listening actively is all about inclusion and equity and diversity, right? You have a diversity of instruments, you have a diversity of students playing those instruments, and it's really important for people to remember that it's not me, myself, and I, it's us, right? And what can we do to better the lives of others in order to better the entire planet? The idea of active listening is extremely important, and being able to communicate efficiently is also extremely important. I'm just going to say everything is extremely important. But being able to balance that, right? In a music room, you're listening to sounds around you. So if you have ideas to share, to know when it is appropriate to share them. Am I respecting everybody in the room? Am I respecting all the values in the room and experiences in the room? And so I try my very best to have students understand that and start to think about that, because that's not something that is necessarily explicitly taught to them. And so I try very hard to explicitly teach them those things.
It was a good experience for me being an education consultant and talking about math. Math is universal. Greek, they did a lot of work about math. Egyptians, Africans, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. There are people who have learning disability who did math. There are people who are part of the LGBTQ community, for example, who did math. So it doesn't matter where you stand, people around the world had contributed to make sure that math is something that is very universal.
The English curriculum has changed as well, and so the pieces that are equity, diversity, and inclusion are visible in that curriculum, in the curriculum expectations. And so you as a teacher are making the choices to fulfill those curriculum expectations, right? Hopefully based on the folks that you see in your room.
It doesn't matter who they are. Your job as the principal or your job as the teacher is to make sure that you celebrate who they are. And by celebrating them, it's to recognize first that you appreciate this student being in your classroom.
Being able to use pieces of writing, videos, all kinds of different mixed media from all folks is part of the curriculum now. The students are more engaged in their learning to the point where sometimes they prefer, in this case, works that are nonfiction, because we're having those voices, over fiction. And that's not something that as an educator in 21 years I have ever even seen. So that's pretty cool. The positive impact of inclusion on students with learning disabilities in the classroom is tremendous. Those students are being seen, are being heard, are being respected for who they are.
We have a lot of students that comes to school here and who have learning disability. These kids that come to our school, they deserve to be seen, they deserve to be valued, and we do that by being very inclusive, by understanding clearly that it's an opportunity to have them in the classroom, and our job is to support them.
and we're changing our lessons and changing our ways of doing in order to be able to meet the needs of all of our students. And in doing so, we meet the needs of all of the other students as well, because what benefits one human being generally tends to benefit all human beings in the room. And so everyone is growing and learning in ways that maybe they didn't know that they needed. And so these principles in the music classroom of respect, of equality, of democracy, right, apply in all classrooms.
It doesn't matter who is the student, because we don't even choose our student. Our students usually choose our school. It's a privilege to have this kid in our school.
I always like coming here since like grade 7, I think, is the first time I came in here, and it was just like, the energy was really good. I'm glad that like I can be a part of that energy for other people and like hang out with other people who I know appreciate me and appreciate music and appreciate similar things that I do.
I'd like to think that they're kinder, more empathetic, and more caring folks, and then they go out into the world with that. Sometimes when I see things in the hallway that aren't always the best things, if something's going down, I do see music students who are trying to go and help the situation, or lend an ear or hold space for those folks, which is something that I try to do as best I can. So it's really neat to see them doing that.